Feral Friday is a podcast about dark romance and monster smut. So if you're not down for weird shit, this is not the show for you. Content may include explicit sexual description, explicit language, conversations about human to human monster, and monster to monster sexual activities. Masturbation, questionable consent, morally gray ethics, murder out of jealousy, BDSM themes and tropes, fictional pregnancy, violence, emotional gut-wrenching story arcs, and all of the kinks. Oh, and dubious insertion of inanimate objects. We're multicultural, multipolitical, multisexual, multiracial group. We believe in inclusiveness, body positivity, bodily autonomy, and human rights for all. But we also like talking about characters getting railed by monsters and humans alike. Overall, prepare for cackling, tangents, general unhinged commentary. We're probably going to annoy the majority of the general population, but if you don't like it, instead of clutching your pearl necklace, you can just not listen. Okay, thanks, bye! She flashed a smile and returned to stuffing his creamy cock down her expectant throat. She wondered what his powdery load would feel and taste like. One hand continued to stroke his long cock as the other began massaging his balls between her fingers. She thought they tightened as he was close. Dimitri switched from grasping the sheets to tangling them in Claire's hair. He slowed her pace with pressure on her head, pushing himself deeper into her throat and holding it there longer. Claire moaned, knowing it would send him over the edge. His dick began to throb in her mouth. She could feel it coming just a second before the eruption. A cold, sharp slush shot straight down her throat, and it was both enticing and slightly painful. She could feel the crystal-like snowflakes fill her up. Like a cold slushy, it went down her throat and into her stomach. It was so hard it made Claire painfully aware of her anatomy. She could feel her esophagus freezing as her throat closed tighter around his already girthy member. Dimitri kept his hands on the back of her head, and his dick lodged deep in her throat. As the last drips of his snowy cum escaped his throbbing cock, she slowly pulled it out of her mouth, her eyes wide. Claire smirked as she massaged her jaw, watching Dimitri laid back, panting, his dick still erect. Claire climbed up to lay beside him. He invited her into his warming embrace as he wrapped his arm around her. And that was Frosted by Juno Delight. Hi, my name is Erin, and I'm reading Shrike by Carly Barrios.
I'm Sarah One, and I'm reading Manacled by Sen Lin Yu.
I'm Marie, and I'm reading Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros.
I'm Sarah Two, and I am reading Dreaming of a Yuletide Wolf by Georgina Stringer.
I'm Ivy, and I'm reading Pirate Queen of Ruin by Ash Raven.
I'm Kitty, and I am also reading The Pirate Queen of Ruin by Ash Raven. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Feral Friday Podcast, Unhinged and Unbothered, a podcast where we talk about smut.
I too personally hate when I'm made painfully aware of my anatomy. I prefer to not be perceived.
There
I'm
was
just
part
thinking of the brain freeze. The brain freeze.
Oh. And I will say, I picked, when I was like sizing up this excerpt to read, I did make sure to include creamy just for you, Ivy.
Oh, thank you. I actually did notice that, and I hate that for me.
I cannot eat popsicles because my teeth are like way too sensitive. So the idea of this blowjob is absolute horrifying. Because I'm just like, my teeth would hurt the whole time.
Right. I hate the cold and like winter and being outside in it. So all of this sounds terrible to me.
I run hot, so this was very appealing.
There's something about the word slushy that, yeah. I like it. Yeah.
I'll take a slush puppy any day.
Yeah, are we talking like
Throw them back.
blue raspberry or cherry?
I'm
or-
hoping.
No, unfortunately not.
Juno did compare it as a joke later in this excerpt that it should be
Ooh.
blue raz.
Okay.
It was not flavored appropriately.
It was
never
not.
is.
It never
Which, for
is.
the record, raspberries aren't blue, and blue isn't a flavor. So,
Blue is a flavor.
I mean,
Flavor.
It happens to be my favorite flavor.
My
But
favorite
purple's
it
mine,
is completely
obviously.
fake.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's just
artificial.
like sour sugar,
Ugh,
but not lemon lime. It's just
Perfect.
sour sugar.
it's complicated.
I think peppermint would have been a good flavor in this situation.
That's
I
kind
don't
of
know
was my
if the
assumption.
peppermint would have been too on point after the pumpkin spice
true.
latte
True.
come in Plowed by the Pumpkin
Mm.
King.
Yeah, but if there's something to be known for, it's
Flavored cum.
on brand flavored cum.
Fun flavored cum. Fun seasonal flavored cum available at your local Target.
Yeah, but just think like your breath would be freshened
That's true.
This
and
is
everything
this is something
all at the
that
same time.
this is something that Juno can expand out on in case they get even more
Mhm.
popular. I mean, they can brand certain related objects.
Juno, I would
So-
like you to please make, I want after blowjob breath freshener,
Yes.
your brand, and I want them seasonal. Like the Easter one's going to be Peeps,
Oh no!
obviously.
Yes. Please.
Take a
How
peep of this
about-
peep.
Or like cum themed coffee creamer.
Oh,
Maybe
God.
something like
The
I
viscosity.
I
hate it.
have something
All
to
right.
show you all. This sticker that I got. Can you see it? Yeah.
Orknog. Yeah, I saw that.
You're so small. What does it
It says
say?
Orknog.
It says Orknog.
Oh God! No.
All right, I'm going to take a
Okay.
hold of the wheel and. So
Cheers, Beth.
we are doing a very special episode today where, as I understand it, when this episode comes out, it's going to be New Year's. Woo, congratulations. You made it to 2024. I'm so proud of you.
Jesus.
Somehow.
And
I didn't think I would.
Still
And what
standing.
we're going to talk about, instead of pressuring people into how to read their books, what books they should read, we are going to do a grown-up book report. So each of the six of us have selected a book that we absolutely loved in 2023 that we think you should read and the rest of the group should read in 2024. There's not a ton of rules on this. We have a couple of prompts, and we're going to do this book report like a speed round. So each of us will have a 2-minute timer to sell this book uninterrupted. We're all going to ask questions afterwards, decide if we're really going to, honest to God, we're probably all going to read these books anyway. It's only 6 more books to add to the pile. And then we're also going to talk about our wins for our reading goals this past year, what we're looking forward to next year, and all of that jazz.
Yeah.
But that's what I got. That's me taking the wheel.
And
All right.
guess who's going to start
Got
us
us back on
off?
track. Thank you.
Erin.
All right. So I
You're
gotta get my
also
notes
starting the
up
timer,
real
so
quick.
don't forget
and
that.
I have to start I'm going to put the timer. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll make this screen smaller. Let's see.
It is hard.
Internet's hard. All right. Here we go. So let me start the timer. So my book that I think you should all read that I read in 2023 is called Albatross by Carly Barrios. This book is it's about an audiobook narrator who normally records smut. And she happens to be recording a horror-like book. She accidentally mumbles a bunch of Latin, has a paper cut, and summons a demon. I was so surprised. I originally saw this book from one, as you do on Instagram, where there's a couple of lines and you're like, oh, I need to read this. The couple of lines were quite literally, it was from one of the men's perspective. It says, please, Belle, I need you to sit on it. Fuck, please. I'll be so fucking good for you. Please. It was the dude begging. So there are going to be 2 main characters. There are 2 different two different male main characters. There's Caspian and Fritz, who are now going to be mated to Belle. It is a duo. So we've got Albatross is the first one, Shrike is the second one. If I had to sum it up, this is going to be supernatural, but Sam and Dean aren't siblings. They actually love each other and go to Pound Town. And rather than them hunting demons, they are the demons. And there's a religious cult that they have to break down. There's a lot of witty side characters. There's a lot of fun jokes. This is an audiobook narrator who has a wall of dildos on her wall. And there is an education aspect where these two demons, one's been around for a while, one hasn't been, he just got brought back after 200 years. They learn how to play the dildos. He learns about technology. This was also an 11th hour pick. I was picking something else. I read this all night literally in a night, determined as my best book of 2023. And you should read it. And that is my time.
Good job, Erin.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Good job.
Round of applause.
Ow. Well, you did see, so
Yeah. Okay,
adding it to
question
my list.
one. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
My
interested.
question is,
Yes.
it's a why choose? Okay.
Why choose? It's also M on M.
Yes, please. Okay. Any other questions?
All right. Any other questions?
Okay.
No.
Moving on.
No.
Our next.
Oh, no, I have a question.
yeah.
Who's your fan cast?
My fan cast, yes. So I actually was speaking to the author before this because I was so excited. I was reaching out. I was doing a little research. As Caspian, that's the first demon you met. That would be a long-haired Henry Cavill with the dark hair, not the white hair
Witcher.
from The Witcher. Belle would be Sophie Turner, but in her more ginger hair tone. And Fritz would be a long-haired Adam Rodriguez. He has that long hair in Magic Mike XXL, but he is one of, I believe he's in one of the
The magic mic drop.
yeah, I couldn't remember where he had that long hair, but he was also in like the NCISs and a couple of them. But he is a Puerto Rican god, and that's who I would pick as my fan cast. Yep, that's what I got.
I'm very down to read that.
I'm like halfway through Shrike right now, and I just immediately like full steam ahead. I didn't know I had an itch for a supernatural style thing. I think the note I really wrote a little bit of supernatural, but Charlie gets to screw both Sam and Dean without the incest, where Sam and Dean also go to Pound Town.
Perfect.
That's what I wrote.
Oh, question.
Yes.
Since they're supernatural, genitalia. What's it like?
Yes. So they don't have weird dicks, but there is a size play aspect, and they get really long tongues.
Okay.
Okay.
So I would say their dicks are huge. There's nothing extra going on there, but their tongue can change the size of certain parts of their body at will. So they're human facing, or they could be their full blown demon daddy selves. But if they want to just be going down on her, they can just enlong their tongue or just their dick.
Okay. That's a nice skill to have.
Right? But yeah, no, that's my book report.
Okay.
Is the next person
Sarah
ready?
Warren.
All right.
Oh, that's okay. Yes, I'm so stressed now. All right.
All right. I'm starting the timer in 3, 2, 1, go.
Great. My book is a series. It's The Forbidden Duet by Amelia Emerson. It is a Omegaverse reverse harem. It's a very cozy romance, but it takes place in a dark universe. So you have like this dark romance meets cozy. So very cozy love story, but you're dealing with trauma. You're dealing with bad government. Your characters are Cam. He's a cranky cinnamon roll. Ben is a goofy sexpot who likes to bake baked goods and feed our female main character. Theo is a smart but refined, emotionally available, and vulnerable guy. Josie is tough as nails, silly and compassionate, but kind of a slow burn, but really good sex. You get a little bit BDSM, you get nodding, you get group sex. I would say about 7 to 8 out of 10 on the spicy scale. part 1 ends on a cliffhanger. You just go straight into part 2. You do get a happily ever after, and there's also another book coming out in this universe. And a big, super big extra bonus for me is this is a child-free Omegaverse romance. So both the female main character and the pack don't want to have children. And for me, that's huge because most Omegaverse end up with a surprise pregnancy at the end, and I hate that. So that's a big one for me. And I love that the male main characters are emotionally vulnerable in this, and they're not afraid to cry, they're not afraid to share, they're not afraid to support their female main character and make sure that she gets the help that she needs because she's dealt with a lot of trauma. So it's funny, it's going to make you cry, it's going to make you horny, all of the things. And this one was recommended me by Kitty and Aaron when I first joined the book club. And I love it, and I'm obsessed with it, and yeah. So that's it. Yay! Whew.
Yay! Great job. Great job. Yes, I love those books.
Yeah.
They're great.
Bravo! I do too.
Yes.
I do love those books. I'm going to ask a question just for those who haven't read it. Is there on-page abuse? Like physical abuse?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, and Amelia does a really good job with her trigger warnings at the beginning of the book and kind of explains what happens. I would say most of the abuse is going to be verbal, and it doesn't happen within the pack. It happens from government. It happens from medical facilities that are run by the government. So I don't want to give too much away. So, but it's not long term in the book. So
Beautiful.
It is it's hard, but she gets through it, and karma is a big thing. People get what's coming to them. So that's the nice part about it, is that she gets to heal, and so the government gets to, get what's coming. So yeah.
We love that.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Fuck the government.
Indeed.
Fuck the
Yes,
government.
Exactly.
Anyone have other questions? I
Oh,
already
yeah,
know I'm going to read the third one, so
No, me either.
I don't need to be convinced.
I just got on the ARC
that's so
for the third
exciting.
one, so I get that in 2 weeks.
That's
I'm so
amazing.
excited. So
Have
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Ugh.
On to our next victim.
Who's up next?
Marie.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, go.
So the series that I'm going to talk about is The Bargainer, and the first book, it's called Rhapsodic. They're by Laura Thalassa, I'm sorry. And don't be discouraged. I know that in the Discord we read something else that was written by her. It has nothing to do with that, and it is very different. So I think that this one is much better. And it's essentially a dark fantasy romance between a siren and this fae king that she doesn't know is a king initially, called the Bargainer, that she owes over 300 favors to. So they first meet when she's 16. She calls on a favor. This is the beginning of the book. She calls on a favor to help her get out of a situation. He grants it. And then to kind of keep her close, he continues granting her favors while she's in school. Then something happens. They're separated. 7 years go by. She hasn't heard shit from him in 7 years. And he comes back to start collecting. So there is a few scenes where the magic that has a life of its own, like the bargain, calls in acts that are sexual. But he does a very good job at always asking for consent and understanding that once they start, this is how it's going to go. And it's kind of that fated mate with a huge age gap. It's 4 books. I'm running out of time and freaking out. And it's a really good book and a really good series. And I recommend that everybody reads it. And that's it.
Awesome. Okay. My question for you, Marie, is what would you put it on the spice scale? 1 to 10.
So I thought
Ooh.
it's 3 out of
Okay.
5 spicy peppers.
3 out of 5.
Is what I had
Okay.
Oh, okay.
given it initially.
Tell me about their peepees.
Oh, of course. Apart from the fact that it's commented that it's a decent size, it's relatively normal anatomy, except he does have wings. So one of my favorite scenes is them fucking in the clouds.
Okay.
Essentially among the stars, because
Yep.
he's like the king of the night court. So
Okay.
I'm down with that.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
What, Sarah?
And I think I would say that like my fan cast for that, and I kind of like looked it up as well. I would put the male character's name as Desmond Flynn. He's kind of a Henry Cavill's Geralt of Rivia, kind of mixed with Damon Salvatore.
Okay.
And I would put Emma Mackey with dark hair as Callie, because she's a siren. She's like very sensual, even though she doesn't mean to
okay.
be.
Yep. I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes.
She's from like I like her in Death of the Nile.
Yep. And she was also
She has, like, a
in
red dress.
Sex Education
Yes.
too. Yes. Yep. Ooh, I like that fan cast. Okay. I like that a lot. Yes. Yes, I don't need to be convinced much more. I think the joy of this is I really don't need to be convinced much. All right. Who's next?
No.
Oops.
Nice try, it's Sarah.
Sarah.
All right. And
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. I've talked about these books before. I'm talking about them again. I don't have a ton of books to lean back on. So I'm talking about The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor and Company of Fiends by Catherine Moon, introduced to me, forced upon me by Erin. Thank you so much. So both of them are reverse harems, and both books take place in the same universe. And for the first book, Lady of Rooksgrave Manor, Esther is our main character. She starts as a maid. Her job falls apart and she needs somewhere to go. And she is introduced to Rooksgrave Manor, where she is an escort, I guess. I don't really know. I don't want to call her a whore, but it's like a brothel, except they're matched up on purpose. And, you know, she's not just getting... I'm running out of time. I'm terrible at this. Okay, so she's got these dudes that she's matched up with. They all fall in love with her, obviously. She falls in love with all of them. They live happily ever after. Great. Company of Fiends, same universe. It's a theater where Esther and the dudes had gone previously, but we are with Hazel, who is one of the actresses of this sex theater, where she's a human and has sex with monsters on stage. Again, reverse harem. She gathers her harem. They all fall in love. They're all besties. All the dudes are besties. And there's a little bit of a mystery component to it. Not a ton of plot. Not a ton of plot, but enough to kind of piece everything together. And I think this is a good book, or good books, because it's a really good intro for people into the monster smut realm. It's not too far out there. It's a really good intro, and there's so much sex, and it's good sex. The end. Boom. Whew. I am the least succinct person in the world,
great.
And that was so
Good
hard.
job. Good job.
Oh my goodness.
None of you have to ask me questions because you all know these books.
I know we all know these books, but our listeners might not.
It's true. That's true.
All right. I'm going to ask the most obvious question. What was your favorite? What was your favorite scene? What was your favorite? What was the sex scene out of those two books that lived in your head rent free?
So there is a scene in Company of Fiends where basically Hazel has been like all of the slots of the show, so she's been fucking all the monsters, and she's tired. So her harem decides to treat her, and so they let her sit in the audience, and they put on a show for her. So it's just all the men loving up on each other, doing their things on stage for her while she's in the audience with one of the guys, and they, have their stimulation. But Ronan and the guy, I don't know, he's a fae. Their little like buddy relationship, like sexual relationship, is top notch.
It's so good.
I agree.
Yes. I could read a whole book about just the two of them, even though I know they're part of a reverse harem. But I would read just a book about the two of them.
Yes. The only thing missing from these books is, because we have like male on male, we don't have any sapphic.
Yes.
And
Yep. I think there's room for there. I think you're right.
Yeah. If we're going to lean one way,
please.
let's lean the other way
Yes,
too.
please. All the sapphic.
All the ways.
Yeah, equality.
Yep.
Precisely.
Great job, Sarah.
Any other
Do you
questions?
have any fan casting for any of the characters?
No, because I don't know who any actors are
Perfect.
because I don't watch movies. So,
Fair enough.
Love
Very
it.
on brand.
is
Sarah,
anyone surprised?
you and I are the exact same.
And I don't have an imagination, so like, there's nothing. There's nothing.
The gerbils just running in the wheel.
So, like, we had this discussion at a holiday party this weekend about how how some people can like visualize things really crystal clear in their head, and some people can't see anything at all, and some people are kind of in between. I'm the fuzzy in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just kind of fuzzy.
That's
shapes.
very valid. Yeah.
That's valid. All right. Who is
Yay,
next?
Ivy!
Now it's me.
Now it's you.
it's
All
Ivy.
right. Yay, Ivy. All right. And 3, 2, 1, start.
I'm sparing my friends in the audience from the book that I really wanted to do, and instead I'm actually going to do one that I did not DNF. For those who don't know, I'm a very picky reader, and I DNF probably about 80% of the books I start. So I chose to do Catch Me, which is book 1 in the Naughty Pines series by Serena Song. It stars our main character, Sadie Lancaster, who is a spoiled little rich girl who is an Omega. And it's a found family story where she goes and she meets her estranged aunt, and she goes into a pack with some gentlemen named Hunter, Elliot, Graham, Logan, and Tristan. And this was actually my first and only Omegaverse story so far. I have not read any other Omegaverse stories. It's something I'm interested in exploring in the future. So this book actually really stood out to me. One, because like I said, I actually finished it. And second, because it was actually like a good story. Like usually when I jump into a book, the reason I DNF them is because I want them to get straight to business. This one, I actually found myself enjoying this story too. And the sex was a bonus. One scene in particular, I'm not going to spoil too much because I think this is one that readers should enjoy on their own, like I did. It involves the main character going out on a picnic with 2 of the alphas in the pack, and they have some fun against a tree. And that scene alone made me give it 4 out of 5 buckets on my rating. I used buckets of cum as a rating system. And the story itself, I actually gave an 8 out of 10 stars, which, again, is pretty good for me. I did not read any of the other ones in the series, can't speak to those, but I do highly recommend this one.
Woo! Way to go, Ivy.
Nice.
Yahoo!
Nice.
Complicated
Yes,
yet
I like
clear
it.
rating system.
I like it.
I do like it.
I love
Okay,
Thank you,
I
it's
do.
Aaron inspired.
I have a question. My question. Out of the pack, who was your favorite?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Yes.
so his name's Hunter. He's the alpha. Yeah,
The grumpy one.
the grumpy one.
Yeah, the grumpy
Yeah.
one.
That scene that you referenced, though, that one is so hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
it's you don't really expect it, I don't think, in that, like, it kind of comes out of left field.
Here
You're
we
like,
are.
oh, we're doing this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it
it's a
was
good
like
one.
with two of the characters that they're alphas, but they're not like the masculine hunky kind of guy that you think of. And then they just go and they do that, and you're like, holy fuck balls! Like,
yeah, because they're those two, I believe. I don't
it was
wanna spoil it.
Elliot
Yeah.
and Graham, I think.
They're like
Elliot-
a
and they
relationship.
have-
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have
and
their
those
own
two have
thing,
their
yeah.
own relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was male. There was a lot of male, honestly.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
they had obviously the group and the whole concept of like I said, this is my first Omegaverse, so the whole like scent thing was interesting. The whole like pack
Yeah.
dynamics was interesting.
That
And
was
then
also my first. Mhm.
the best part about this book, I think, was the quiz that someone put in the Discord where we all found out what we were.
I did that.
And just so all of our listeners know, I am the only alpha in this group.
That tracks.
Yeah, that was a great quiz. I loved that. That was amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. Out of the garbage things you say, my algorithm is fucked up, and then every once in a while, my algorithm
That was
produces
that quiz though.
something
We
like
were
that.
all like, Aaron,
Yeah.
you wrote this, right? Like it literally every single question was like an Aaron question. Yes.
It was an honest
Yes.
doubt.
It was crazy.
It wasn't me though.
Wasn't there Glorp
Huh?
involved in the quiz?
What was that?
Wasn't one of
Yeah.
the questions involving
Yes.
Glorp?
Yes, I think that's why we
Which
thought
is
I
why.
wrote it.
Exactly.
I don't have any other questions. I just fully endorse that everyone should read this book too.
Agreed.
I would say like it's an excellent, like I think we all so far have like we all have great intros to different pocket universes, like even two different Omega verses. Those are excellent intros to Monster Smut, X, Y, and Z. But I'm very excited to hear Kitty
Oh my
talk
God.
for 2 minutes about Hermione now.
Yeah.
Of course. Nobody's surprised.
God bless.
2
Will
It
minutes,
will
Kitty.
never be
2.
enough, but we're gonna do our
No.
damn best to get all of the information.
I believe in you.
I
One
didn't
and a
even
half
need
speed.
to look at our show notes to know that you were doing a Hermione. I had an idea it was the one you're about
It
to
was
do,
a-
but
Yeah. Okay.
all
Yep.
right.
I'm ready.
Yep. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, start.
Okay, my top 3 reasons that you need to read Secrets and Masks by Emerald Slytherin. Number 1, there is a dragon and her name is Narcissa. Number 2, this book left me with the perfect book high. Number 3, this book made me laugh, scream, want to throw up, cry, scream more, and then cry more. Okay? In that order, repeat 5 times. This book is like the tear your heart out, stomp on it, push it back in, sew it up, tear it out, stomp on it. But it is worth every single second. It's a very long book, but it is worth it. I loved it. This is dark romance to the extreme. Like every single trigger warning that you could probably imagine is in this probably at some point to some degree. I have a whole list. I'd love to share it with you. It is Harry Potter fanfic, so the main characters are Draco and Hermione. In this world, Voldemort won the war. So it's a very dark Voldemort wins fic, and yeah, it is incredible. It is not necessarily a happy ever after like you would think. It's like a bittersweet squint, and maybe you can see the happy ever after, but it is the perfect ending for this story, and I'm a very staunch happily ever after believer. So there's that. Let's see. I'm going to read you a quote in 30 seconds from Draco. He says, "I would do anything you ask of me." He said the words slowly, as though he were trying to engrave them into her, like carving words into stone. "I would butcher the entire world for you. All you need to do is ask. I would give up every treasure I have or ever will have. I would carve open my chest, pull out my heart, and give it to you if you only ask me to. I would give you anything in the world that you want, but do not ask me to sit back and watch you die." The end.
She did it.
Wow.
Damn.
You did it.
Did it.
Wow.
Woo.
There was a lot more I could have said, but
I'm sure. All right.
So-
what can I ask?
I have a
Yeah.
question. Yeah,
Okay.
so are there main character deaths like Harry, Ron?
there are main character deaths. I will spoil anything anybody wants to be spoiled, but yes, there are main character deaths. Harry is not one of them, though. I can say that for sure.
Okay.
Harry is dead and manacled, which is usually why people ask. But that happens on
Yeah.
page 1, so that's not a spoiler.
Can I ask a very basic general question? As somebody who is not in the Harry Potter verse,
Yeah.
whatever, why Draco and Hermione? Like, why do they have their own subgenre?
They have probably arguably one of the largest, they're probably one of the largest ships in Harry Potter. And I think part of the allure is Draco is such this like snarky, he's like the jock, right? He's like the rude jock, essentially who falls in love with the brainiac. And so it's kind of like every story you've ever read about high
She's all that.
schoolers. Yeah. And they both have so much trauma and so much hurt that they like in every story, they just have such interesting ways of like helping each other heal. And Hermione has like such this ability to forgive him. And because he was the one that wronged her probably the most in canon, like she just has this power over him to forgive him. And it's beautiful.
I will say a lot of people also were very unsatisfied with Ron and Hermione ending up at the end of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And then there was actually historically Tom and Emma, the
They had a crush on
actors.
each other.
They had crushes on each other. They've talked about it in the documentaries X, Y, and Z. They're actually incredibly close. And I think that there is like the second you know this as an adult, like it's, I don't know, he's kind of like the bad boy you'd pine after. Like everyone, like, that's, I don't know, it just happens. Like, and it's written in a way where it's really played up. I think as we grow older, we get really old, like really tired of the golden boy. And we want to fix him. I want to fix him.
But I would
That's the
also say,
Pisces, Aaron.
yeah, Draco is also brilliant. He's smart.
He's very smart. Yeah.
So he can actually hang with Hermione on a brains level, whereas like Harry's kind of a moron. He kind of is like that fail forward kind of guy. So, and same with Ron. So Hermione is with, best friends with the two guys that are constantly like accidentally succeeding through no fault of their own. And
I'm
Draco
sorry,
is
Sarah.
actually smart.
That is Harry Potter slander because I do want to just say that Harry did score above average consistently. It's Ron that's the dumbass.
Yes, that is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, now I got everybody off onto a tangent, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
I would say I have a question about the fic.
Okay.
When accessing it on AO3, how did you get it to your device?
Ooh, this is my favorite. I'll actually make a little tutorial that we can post on our Instagram. So how I do it.
Actually.
Okay, I would love to do that for you all. If you download the Moby version of any fic on AO3, you do need to start with Moby if you want to have page numbers on your Kindle, okay? Then you go to this fancy little website called onlineconverter.com, and you can change that from a Moby to an EPUB. And then I get fancy and I add a cover, which you can also do there, and then download the EPUB version. And then I just do amazon.com/send to Kindle, drag and drop that, press OK, and it shows up on your Kindle.
This is so many steps.
It sounds like it, but it's really not. It's much easier than the Calibre version.
What is Moby?
It's just a
it's
kind
the
of
type
file.
of
It's like a
file.
JPEG or a doc. It's just the kind of file. Yeah.
It's not another app.
What are you talking about?
It's just a file.
I will need a step-by-step with
I would
visuals. Pretty
yes.
please.
I would love to make one for you all. Yes.
Okay, I have
I
one
feel like
more.
such a boomer.
I have one more question. Would you say this is a good intro to Hermione fic, or is there a different one you think that people should start with soft, or do you think they should go right in with Secrets of Masks?
I would not say that this is necessarily a good intro to the fic, to this ship. As far as one that is more accessible, I'll have to think about that. I know I have some, but I don't. I'd have to go look at my spreadsheet, and I don't want to do that right now. But yes, I will. I do have a spreadsheet.
I've seen it.
Of course you do.
It's very large.
It's
yes,
brilliant.
I will post that on our Instagram as well. Yeah.
I love that.
All right.
This is very dark.
Well done, everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think we all did a good job with our
Well
book
done.
reports.
Yeah.
I love this. I think maybe we'll hear from the listeners.
quarterly.
But I was about to say maybe we do a quarterly book report. I think that might be a really good idea.
That would be fun.
We did have a couple other things to talk about. So the next thing, other than book reports, is we wanted to talk about what are we most looking forward to in 2024. If there is a book release upcoming, or if there is something that is on your TBR that you know you're going to be tackling in 2024. As far as for me, I talked about it a couple episodes ago. There is a book called Bride by Ali Hazelwood. My very dear friend Kate, they read it. They got the art copy, and Ali Hazelwood wrote The Love Hypothesis, that kind of women in STEM series, got the trust of her readers and her publishers, and is now writing a werewolf vampire smut, smutapalooza is what I want to say.
Ooh.
I am so excited. I probably will buy the digital copy of this. I might actually spend the real monies on this. But that is what I'm most excited about in 2024.
Question: is that one a horror book?
It's not. The cover looks a little bit like horror.
I was gonna say it does,
but it is like it. There's a arranged marriage like thing going on, and so it's probably going to be a little because it's werewolf vampire adjacent. There will probably be some horror themes, but it is still it's a monster fucker.
Okay.
It's a monster fucker.
Yeah. What else is everyone else excited about for in 2024?
Well, I mentioned before, but I'm super excited about Cherished coming out by Amelia Emerson, which is the third book in the Luna and Soul universe, the Omegaverse. And I will be getting an art copy in 2 weeks. And that one's really cool because the female main character will actually have a chronic illness. So it'll be chronic illness rep in that one. So that's exciting. And the one of the male main characters will be a biker daddy kind of guy. So yay. But yeah, without the toxic biker gang situation.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited.
No
for
biker
that
gangs.
book.
No, thank you.
No,
I'm really
MCs for
excited.
us.
I'm probably going to add that too. Just staring down the barrel of the books I'm just preemptively adding for this year. Who else? Who's excited?
I was scrolling on Instagram yesterday, and with my little eyes, saw that Ash Raven is writing a book about sharks.
Kitty,
They
that's
are
perfect
literally
for you.
writing a Shark Daddy book.
I mean, she's listened to the pod before, hasn't she?
What?
She's listened to the pod before, hasn't she?
Yeah.
I think they
So
have.
maybe
yes.
she's
Thank
an
you,
avid
Ash.
listener.
I don't know.
And she
I
was
literally Yeah, I literally sent the post to our Fail Fridays group chat, and I was like, "Is Ash writing a book for me? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark." I'm like so obsessed. I'm so excited. I'm like,
We should put that as a question in our stories and see if she responds.
Kitty,
They
I think that you manifested this.
I might have.
I think you did. I think you manifested the short.
It was not something that I was expecting to ever manifest, but I'm here for
Your
it.
intuition is just so strong. You said
Great
that I've
job.
had sharks on the brain, and you know
I
what? Maybe
have.
this is the reason why.
It probably is. It probably is. Yeah. So
Ash Raven, please DM Kitty for any further book ideas because
She's got them.
she's
I would
got 'em.
die. Please. Please. Okay. Next up are reading goals for 2024. This can be any sort of things. Erin, you want to start us off?
I'd like to start off with, if you read one book a year, I'm proud of you.
Oh my gosh,
If you
yes.
read one book a day, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
If you pick up and go to read anything, I'm proud of you. That being said, I am a strong practitioner of active avoidance. I like to say that as a pre-warning. As of today, when I wrote the show notes, it was different. I'm going to give you a live as of the recording day. My reading goal for 2023 was 160 books. Last year in 2022, I did I think I did 170, I think. And okay, so I set myself for 160. As of today, I've read 213 books.
Oh God.
Oh my
I
goodness.
Yes, like I said,
That's amazing, Erin.
Practitioner of active avoidance. I have a partner who I love very, very much, but he snores like the Dickens. And I also have insomnia, which I'm working on in the best possible healthy way. But I definitely practice escapism. I don't log a book unless it's over 200 pages generally. But I will talk about it. So next year I am upping my goal. Since I upped my goal from 2022 to 2023, I'm going to set it to 165. Oh, sorry. No, I am misreading this. I'm setting it to 200. I don't think I'm going to meet it next year. 2024, just because I am trying to buy a house. So we'll see how that wiggles out as far as stress levels in time. But I'm looking to at least meet what I've read this year. I definitely had a little more downtime. I've changed careers, X, Y, and Z. Work from home now. And so I'd like to do currently, I'm going to come out on top in 2023, but we'll see how 2024 wiggles out.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I got.
Well, I did a rough count and I read 50 books this year.
Woohoo!
Way to
Yeah.
go.
I know. I read a lot of them at the beginning of the year when I had super high anxiety. I was not medicated for it. Got medicated, stopped reading, but then joined our book club and then started reading voraciously again for purely for fun. So, So I would like to plan to read 100 books in 2024, with a plan for the majority of them being 200 pages or more. So kind of going for like a 20,000 page count for the year. So,
Nice.
Love that.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
We love
yeah,
that.
so if they're less than 200 pages, then, you know, they can still count as long as they hit that 20,000 page.
I like that.
I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of wiggle room just in case. But yeah, I don't ever think I've set a reading goal, so I'm kind of excited about that. Unless
excited
there was
for
pizza
you.
involved in elementary school. So
Yes. Which, you know what? Maybe we can just do a virtual pizza party at the end of next year to celebrate.
I would love that. Are you
Yes.
kidding
Very
me?
nice.
Okay. Yes, I respect the pizza party, but are we blowing past crab rangoons that quickly?
I was going to say.
Oh.
let's do a crab rangoon party.
Oh my
I was
God.
gonna
Like a
say.
virtual crab rangoon party. I love that.
Yes.
Done.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
That's amazing. Marie?
So I tallied up, and I have read 59 books so far, and I'm working through another 2 that I should finish before New Year's. So I've decided to go with a nice round number of 100 for next year.
Nice.
All right.
We love it.
It's a great number. Sarah, too, what about you?
So
All right.
I've never had a reading goal before. I have no idea how many books I read this year because I didn't keep track. So I figured I'd try 100 books too, and I have no qualifiers for that of like
Perfect.
page count or anything. I always was an avid reader. I kind of fell off the horse. I kind of got stuck in Outlander world for a few years.
That happens.
So
That
good.
happens.
So good.
Yeah, I read Outlander 3 times in a row back to back, and like that was the only book I read was Outlander 3 times in a row.
Respect. I love that universe.
So, I still have to read the last one again because I don't remember a goddamn thing that happened. But I want to read 100 books. I'm excited to be back in the game after popping out a kid and all that. And having the time to do it. It's really helped my libido. So
Amen.
husband appreciates as well. Very important. And I also just want to tackle my nonfiction pile that I have growing because, I go to the witch store and I'm like, this one looks good. And now I've done that 15 times and haven't touched a single one. So I got to open
We
those.
can work on those together.
Yay!
Because those are on my to-be read list as well for next year.
Yeah, same.
I love it.
Ivy, what about you?
So I don't keep track of how many books that I read. If I had to guess, I've surpassed over 200 this year, but I really have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think my biggest goal is actually next year to not buy any books. I'm gonna tackle my TBR, and if I do get the itch, I'm gonna go to the library and stop spending money on books.
I love it. The library is the only good part of the United States government.
It's the only place
agree.
you're allowed to exist without spending.
Yeah.
Right?
Right?
I love the
It's
library.
amazing.
And that's why they try to shut it down.
Yep.
I won't let them.
That's why we got to support our local libraries. Get your library card. Give them a visit. They have an amazing collection. For the most
Download
part.
Libby.
Libby.
Download
Libby.
Libby.
Yeah.
It helps a lot.
If you
Also,
can't get
Hoopla.
get there, or Hoopla, if you can't get to the library, you have an asshole cat like me, who shreds books, and then you have to pay for the book either way because they've destroyed the library book. Libby, and invest in, as Ivy's showing us her beautiful baby. They have the best cat. Yeah, go download Libby, download Hoopla. Digital versions go a really long way because the library still has to purchase that book, and then you can have access to it for free. And then you can also send in suggestions to your local library. There's usually a very nice librarian who probably reads the same things as you do and just needs someone from the public to ask for the library to buy that book so they can also read it. Goes very long.
I request like every book in Libby all the time.
Yeah.
And you can do that in Libby. Like, notify me when you ask for the notify me in Libby. That's you requesting a book. So, like, I can't tell you how many times I've done the notify me, and within 2 weeks that book is available. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
even if you're like, I'm gonna go buy it because I can't wait to read this because it's for a book club, like, still like request it because then it'll be available for the next person. So, and then the author gets the royalties and yada yada yada.
It works out.
Love it.
A lot of libraries not only do books, but they do movies, CDs, and some libraries do home appliances that you can check out and use.
This is true.
Some libraries also do national park and state park passes. You can
Or
literally
museum
check
passes.
out a pass to go to national parks.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've gotten museum passes for
Yeah.
a local museum.
All sorts
Please
of
go to your libraries.
Yes. Yeah. So my reading goals for 2024. This year, my reading goal was 95 books. I read 75 last year. I found Ice Planet Barbarians in February, which means that I had read 95 books by the middle of May.
Yep.
So
this was your moment.
That was my whole life derailed. So I'm at 231 books for the year so far, and that's gonna go up some more. It's fine. I'm fine.
Is your
Sorry.
goal, like,
Only
250?
extremes here.
Kitty, are you okay?
Yes.
Blink
Question.
twice if everything's
Yeah.
fine. Do you need help?
Did you consider Debt of Time one book, or did you separate that?
I should have separated it because
Kitty.
it's like 2,800 pages long.
That's
But
4 books, Kitty.
Jesus Christ.
Secrets
That's
and
why I'm
Masks
doing
is
a
like
page count for next year.
Secrets and Masks is like 1,200 or 1,800. So in my spreadsheet, my master spreadsheet that I have for fanfic, I've read over 4 million words since
Kitty.
September.
You almost gave me a heart
And one of
attack.
my friends did the math, and he was like, that is the equivalent of reading the Lord of the Rings series 8 times.
Oh my
God.
So that's how much fan fiction I have read since September. It's fine. We don't need to
It's
talk about
fine.
it.
Kitty.
You also practice active avoidance. Welcome.
I do. I also don't sleep well. So, insomniac, I do not have a partner. I do not have children. I do have a dog. So, and my job is I read at work. So, that's all I do is read. Anyway, so next year, I don't plan on rereading Ice Planet Barbarian. So, my goal is just going to be 100 books. I don't see myself reading.
All right.
Unless
This many
some
again?
other
So we'll see you in
hyperfixation
March.
enters the chat.
Yeah. I mean, we have Hermione still, so there is that, and it is an unlimited. The world is my oyster.
I did just send
That
Kitty
it
a bunch
is.
of Hermione fics the other day.
Yeah.
Just feeding the habit.
So good.
I am. I'm an enabler. I have to
I
keep
know.
my cult leader happy.
They are.
Love
Thank
it.
you. Other things, I am also planning on doing a no spend year next year, and trying to tackle my physical and digital owned TBR. Except
that's a
for
good
like,
one.
but I'm
The-
still gonna
the-
have Kindle Unlimited.
Yep.
Right. So
Digital
that's
though,
fine.
I'm gonna actually amend mine. I want to try to. I've been
so
slowly
many.
working on the last 2 Stuff Your Kindle days and working that down, and then deleting them from my Kindle as I go.
That's a good idea.
I'm not worried about space. I want to support these small indie authors, so I have to actually read them to do the support part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My God.
Okay.
So the last segment we have to get you ready for your January is the other top 3 reads of your 2023 that you'd recommend. Obviously, there's a lot of books that we all read collectively. Some of the same, some of the different. I think that I can see here. I'm like, obviously the heavy hitters. SJM is on the list.
Yep.
But I think as a group, we discovered a lot of other really cool small writers. For me, I'm going to put my pitch in for my one sports romance.
Go team.
Go team. I loved Pucking Around by Emily Rath. So this one
I like the title.
I know, right? It made its debut through TikTok. It is a reverse harem. It's 3 hockey dudes, 1 gal. It's M on female. There is pregnancy involved. There's also like sports. This is I think I had mentioned on their podcast on an earlier episode. I'd like sports romance, but only like hyper specific if it's hockey or rugby. This is a hockey one. The other is actually what I originally was going to do my book report on. Is going to be the Black Bear Clan books by Zoe Ashwood. So that is her orc protector, her orc warrior. Zoe's actually come out with 3 more books since the first 4 that I think we read as a group, which I am going to be reading very soon. It's a great intro it's a great way to slide into monster smut. If you're interested in orc, otherworldly kinds of things, I think each of those first 4 books, because I've only read the first 4, I'm going to be reading the other ones, really expresses how to get into monster fucker. And the last one is Phantom by Greer Rivers. I loved this book. This was the Phantom of the Opera dark romance book that we read. We had on the list for November. I read all 3. The third one is what I did my awful Boston accent cold open from.
Yes.
I've read Greer also does a really long series before this one that is a kind of military adjacent one where like a bunch of military dudes own a security firm, hijinks, extreme hijinks and drama ensues. I ripped through those. That's what got me introduced to Greer. But the Phantom really spoke to me. But those would be my other top 3 picks of 2023.
Awesome.
Nice.
For me, I have Pen Pal by J.D. Geisinger. And that's dark romance and mystery and has some pretty heavy BDSM elements, and I loved it. And next would be Tame Me by Serena Song, which is actually the third book in the series that Ivy was talking about for their book report. I actually skipped the second book. But I went to Tame Me, and I really liked that. So Omegaverse, Reverse Harem, yeah, and then Bound to the Battle God by Ruby Dixon, and that was one that Aaron recommended to me, and I just finished that one. Gosh, like last week, I think. Really good, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series. With the other gods. So
nice.
Yeah.
Ruby Dixon.
I know. And this one's
It's a
not
great other
Reverse
Ruby
Harem
series,
or
like-
Omegaverse. It's just a very interesting concept.
Yep.
So
I
haven't read
really
those
liked it a lot. I'm going to read the last 2. Those are also, I'm going to be compiling my next year, an actual list.
Love it.
So from my reads from this year that I recommend, I would definitely say A Court of Thorn and Roses was a fucking roller coaster ride of emotions. The whole series, all through Silver Flames, I recommend all of them. The Company of Fiends by Catherine Moon, which in turn gets you reading Lady of Rooksgrave, so definitely go there. And from my not smut section, I recommend The Storyteller, Tales of Life and Music by Dave Grohl. If you like Nirvana, you like the Foo Fighters, he documents his life and how he's balanced everything from watching his friends die to raising his daughters in the middle of doing tours to putting family first to what is important in life. It was a really nice story and narrated by him, the audiobook. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Love that.
Nice.
Oh, okay, I would listen to that. I love Dave. My dad loves Dave Grohl. I would.
Who doesn't love Dave Grohl?
He's such a nice guy. That's a good man.
Okay, Sarah, what you got for us?
All right, I'm going to keep it simple. Because again, I just kind of jumped back into reading like the second half of this year. So I don't have a ton on the list, but agreeing with Marie, the Court of Thorns and Roses series. I read 1 through 5, devoured them. I honestly went into Court of Silver Flames, the last one, thinking I wasn't going to like it, like I was going to be over it. That was not the case.
It's the best
Big fan. I'm waiting in the Libby app for the Throne of Glass and the Crescent City series to come up. Like the second Crescent City book already came up for me, and I was like, no, I need to read the first one. So I had to delay that one and wait for the first one to come up. But I'm excited to read those because I really liked ACOTAR for what it was. The other book that I'm going to say is going to be Braiding Sweetgrass let me not butcher the title, with my speech impediment, by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Oh, that's a tough one for my impediment. Braiding Sweetgrass. Listen to the audiobook if you can, because she narrates it, and it just, like, it hits you. I cried several times. I would listen to it while I did yard work, so I was the weirdo crying in my front yard, like trimming bushes. But a very good book, nonfiction, and it really helps change your perspective on a lot of things, like how we do things as a culture, how we treat nature, how nature works together, and motherhood, if you are a mother. And it really just kind of wraps everything up in a really beautiful way.
Love that.
Love that.
I think that'll make the PR.
I know. I have Braiding Sweetgrass, and I haven't read it yet. So that
Oh,
just makes
Erin.
me
I think
wanna
I'm
read it
going to
more.
read it again. Like, it's going to be one I keep going back to.
I love that.
So Braiding Sweetgrass is actually my favorite book, and I also own it. I own 2 versions of it, and I also have the audiobook. And I don't listen to anything else while I walk. I've listened to the audiobook through probably 8 times in a row.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
It's amazing. It's so good.
It's
I
every
have to read it.
Yeah, every single time I listen to it again, there's a different part that sticks out to me, and I love that about that book, especially. Favorite book ever, hands down. But for me, my top 3 of the year, 2 of them were actually fan fiction. One of them are Cult Leader Kitty did recommend to me. It's A Debt of Time by Shaylani. The other one is also a classic, and my first Wolf Star was actually All the Young Dudes by Miss King Bean 89. And then finally, my favorite book probably of the year, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. That is an excellent book. It's a prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, which is one of my favorite fantasy books of all time. It's sapphic. It's just perfect. Like, A Day of Fallen Night is actually better than Priory. Never thought I'd say that, but it was, and it's really good. And
I like it by the title alone.
Kitty's laughing because I don't think she's read it yet, and she needs to. It's so good.
I'm
It's
also
so good.
so upset I didn't know that you had read All the Young Dudes. That one is on my list. I have not read it yet, and I need to.
Kitty! Okay, you have to promise me. I read A Debt of Time for you. You have to
Okay,
read All the
I
Young
will.
Dudes for me.
I will read it for you. I will.
Thank
I
you.
promise.
I love this.
Okay, so my other top 3 were The Dead of Time. Also, it like left me in it changed. I don't know. It did things to me. Yeah, that book was, that was the really, really long one. Recommend it. Please read it. It's so good. It's a Sir Miney time travel. So good. And then A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor was also on my list. Just top tier. And then I just read one, finished it this weekend, called The Consort of Fire by Kit Rocha. And it's dragon shifter, magic, spice. The audiobook, it's on Kindle Unlimited. And if you borrow it in Kindle Unlimited, you also get the audiobook in Audible. So go get it and listen to it.
Right now.
It is top tier. It was so good. And I've read a lot of books this year, so it just went right up to the top. Highly recommend. And it's a reverse harem. Oh, although, wait. It's with 2 girls and a guy. Is that still reverse harem? Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's regular harem.
Just regular. Yeah.
reverse harem. It's Una reverse twice harem.
It's kind of like
It's a
like
harem of
the
some sort.
princess with a guy and a girl, but they
It's a
all are
+2
together.
instead of a +4. If we're talking Uno cards.
Sure, Aaron. There's
I'm
3
going to be on the
total.
cover art for this episode.
Someone's
a
gonna be the dad.
threesome.
I guess it's me.
It's a threesome, yes.
But you're
yes.
saying that the female
Uh-huh.
Is the
main
center.
character is the ringleader.
Yes.
so to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm down with that sickness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's not like
It's different.
an emperor with a harem of subservient women,
No, like
which is a traditional harem.
Yeah, no, it's not quite like that. Like, he is a god, so like he does, but he's not the one leading everything.
Okay.
Like, he's in charge, but he's not in charge. The princess is in charge. She's the one that everything revolves around. So, whatever that would be, just read it. Okay? Thank you.
All right.
It's great. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This is so good.
Wow.
I love hearing all of us. I know we all feel very passionately about some of the books we read, but all of us like speaking fondly about the books we really loved. I think is a delight, a little bit different than our normal episodes. We're going to be sharing quite a bit of content. Obviously, I'm going to make some reels with all of these books and all the authors so you can find them. If anyone has any questions about the books or wants a more thorough trigger warning, or like one of us to give a synopsis about one of the books that we talked about, obviously shoot us a DM, send us an email. We are very excited to talk about it and tell you about why we love these books. And I'd like to also just pointedly say that just because we didn't mention a book that we've talked about in the past didn't mean it wasn't our favorite. These are just our tippity-toppitous favorites.
We only had 2 minutes.
And that.
Yeah. And it was really hard to pick top favorites.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, mine was an 11th hour change. I changed it the day of the recording, after I stayed up all night to read Albatross. And I was like, holy shit, this is it. Yeah, I don't often have that religious moment.
The
But-
epiphany.
Yeah, not me. It was freaking one brain cell that I share between this podcast up here. Yeah,
It is your week with the brain cell this week, Erin. I did send it over.
thank you. FedEx dropped it off this morning.
FedEx doing the Lord's work.
To the neighbor's house, I had to go get it.
Yeah, it's fine. It was only a mile away.
Uphill in the snow.
But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy
love
Happy
you
New
all.
Year.
Happy
Good
New
riddance
Year.
2023.
Goodbye 2023.
2024.
Yeah.
2024, let's go.
We are all
Let's go.
proud of you. We are all proud of you for any books you read at all.
Audiobooks or books.
Audiobooks or books. Fix or books.
Yep.
Sometimes you gotta read with your eyes shut.
Mhm.
Just
So you're saying the books that I read in my dreams count? Because
Yeah,
that's
you do.
definitely happened.
did I not just dream about a whole book
Yes,
plot
you
that I want
did.
someone to write? I had
Yeah.
a dream about a book I want someone to write. That'll be a different little sub story. I'll save that for later about the plot of a book I want someone to write. I dreamt it. But yeah, no, thank you
Yeah.
everyone.
There we
Thank you
are.
for listening.
Have a happy New Year.
Happy New
Bye.
Year.
Thank you so much for listening to the Feral Friday podcast. Join us every Friday for unhinged shenanigans, books, games, and more. You can find us on Instagram at Feral Friday Pod. Did you know we have a website? Visit us at www.feralfridaypod.com. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you'd like us to cover a particular book or series, please send us an email at bferal@feralfridaypod.com. Happy reading!
Feral Friday.